I had this whole cute idea for an intro prepared, but it's kind of hard to be funny and cute when you're trying to find the will to live. What's up, beautiful, purposeful souls? So, as you guessed by the title of this video, today I will be reviewing The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. Like, just saying that title brought a smile to my face. Thank you, Brandon. So we will be reviewing the first book of the Stormlight Archive series. I will be dividing this video into two parts. First is the non-spoilers, and second is the spoilers part. We'll start with the The Way of Kings is the first book from a 5-part series, technically 10, but they're going to be divided into 2 different arcs. Book 1 to 5 is one arc, and then book 5 to 6 is another arc. I guess it's similar to what he did with the Mistborn, the Era 1 and Era 2. However, do not panic. You will be able to read only book 1 to 5 because there is a story that ends and wraps in book 5, which is scheduled to be released in December of this year, 2024. I heard that the second arc takes place 10 years after the first. It's a different story, I guess, or at least different characters, and you get the gist. Now, book 1, Way of Kings. This is a big book. First, the structure of this is we have a prelude, and then we have a prologue. It's divided into, I think, 5 different parts. But the thing is, between those 5 parts, there are interludes, which are one-time POVs, mainly for the most part. There is a POV that reappears again and again. Way of Kings follows 3 main POVs. It's Kaladin's, Dalinar's, and Shallan's. However, Shallan, I don't know how it's pronounced. However, there are many other POVs. Like, overall, there are 18 POVs I read in this book, but they are not as consistent throughout the story. As I said, the interludes have some one-time POV appearances. What is this plot about? Let's get that out of the way. I'm gonna keep it very short, like 1 sentence, because it's about a lot of stuff and it's hard to explain. So basically, Way of Kings takes place on the world of Roshar, where war is constantly being waged on the Shattered Plains, and the High Princes of Alethkar fight to avenge a king that died many moons ago. Another short explanation says it follows the stories of different characters who are all connected by their quest for power, honor, and survival. That's all I'm going to say about the plot. Honestly, that's all I knew going into this book, and you don't need anything more. You just need to trust the process, trust me, and trust Brandon. For the non-spoiler part of this review, my opinion, number 1 is it is a slow read, and nothing will be making sense for probably like the first 80% of this book, but trust and put your faith in Brando and trust that the last 20% or 10 will make up for everything. It will be more than worth it, not just worth it, more than worth it. So that's 1. However, I did read on Reddit some reviews and some people saying that they did not find this book to be so, and that they were hooked from the start. Now, though slow, what this book lacks in action, it makes up for in character work and world building and little mysteries that will make you want to theorize and know what the fuck is going on, even though you have no idea what is going on. It will make you grow so attached to the characters. You will live with them, whether you like it or not, day in, day out, through their struggles, even if it's the same shit they're going through every day, and it's fucking torturingly annoying, you are sitting with them through it. And so through that, you grow attached to them. You start to understand how they think. Brandon brings so much complexity to the characters through making you sit with them like that. You feel their pain, you feel everything they're going through. The character work, especially Kaladin's, it's something else. Honestly, it's something else, and I understand now why people are naming their children after this character. Which brings me to another point, world building. There is so much description in this book. Like if a random character just walks in, a servant, let's say, to offer up a cup of water and then leave, we are getting the description of what he is looking like, what he is wearing. He's just very descriptive, even with the world building and okay, naturally it has to be that way. It is a huge epic fantasy series and we have to know how the world works. But in my opinion, there's too much of it. But again, I still gave this more than a 5. If I could rate this more than a 5 stars, I would, because that's how good. Don't let this hold you back from reading this book series, because it's plus it's just me. I mean, you might like all of the description because the world is very unique, so you might enjoy the little things and creatures and the plants and see, it's worth it. Honestly, it's worth it. A positive point, in spite of all the world building and the hugeness of this book and the complexity of the epicness of it, a very positive thing that's always there in Brandon's writing is he will hold your hand through it. You will not have to worry about it being too complex or too epic fantasy for you to understand. You won't even have to tab, you know, sometimes when there's like lore or I don't know, like just these little magic system history, whatever it is, where you tab because you're like, I'm gonna have to go back to it so I could remember. Like, don't fret and don't stop at each little thing and try to understand it so you could remember it, because Brandon will mention it again and he will explain it, not only mention it again and again and again. Another positive I want to mention before we move on from the non-spoiler part is, as I said, even though this book is slow, it does contain a lot of beautiful character work. There are a lot of hints and threads being weaved into the story in order to lead to the perfect sweater that makes you feel cozy and at home and like you do not want to ever take it off. So yes, it is a big book. Oh, you should know that going in. This is a 1,000-page book, but honestly, just as soon as I finished this, I hopped into Words of Radiance right away. I've only read a chapter so far because I finished this like 2 days ago. While I was reading this, I felt like, okay, I'm gonna need a break afterwards. I cannot binge this whole series. But honestly, let me end this part by saying this is such a good fucking book. I would sell a kidney in order to... I will just sell a kidney, you know what? Brandon, because your writing is so good, I'm offering you a kidney even though you do not need one. That's how good it is. The ending is so rewarding. If you end up pushing through the 80%, will give you the most rewarding ending. Brandon does not ever leave you feeling unsatisfied or still thirsty, or trust. So that was it for the non-spoilers part of the video. Now let's hop into the spoilers part. Cal broke my heart. Kaladin's chapters, especially before he found his faith, before he found the will to live, before he decided that he was going to save the bridge crew, I felt so sorry for him. Oh God, I was feeling his pain so bad. I just wanted to, you know, hug him and give him a kiss and tell him, like, just trust, I know you're gonna be okay at the end, but just please, you just have a little faith, please don't give up. I mean, it was so torturous what we had to go through with him. So that part broke my heart. But then, when he found the will to live, I was like, that's my boy, that's my boy, that's my... I would marry him in a heartbeat. He is real. Dalinar's chapters as well made me feel that way, but they also kind of pissed me off. I was so pissed off at the character because for some reason, okay, with Kaladin's situation is more understandable. Dalinar is like, I don't know, I just wanted him to fucking, okay, you're having these visions, whether they're true or not, just get a sword. How hard is it? Just go into battle this once. prove that you're still the Blackthorn, get people to respect you, and that way they will listen to you more. Like, it's how hard is it to think about, okay, I know you're going through this existential crisis and this identity crisis and this, but just sometimes you have to be smart. You can't just like mope around. I wanted him to just, I don't know, just grab a fucking sword. I wanted the Blackthorn to be back. I wanted people to respect him. These people are fighters. That's how they respect you. So go fucking fight. He did though. I wasn't that annoyed. I seem like I'm more annoyed than I actually was. But yeah, I also felt very bad for him. Excuse me, can we just talk for a moment about the heartfelt moments that made this book what it is? First, when Kaladin and the bridge crew were being attacked, especially Kaladin, by the Parshendi because they were wearing the carcasses, and everybody, all of the soldiers, everyone just stayed back because they didn't care, because bridge crew, who cares? Ugh, ugh. But then Dalinar came and he just saved their ass, saved Kaladin. I almost cried. I think I did cry. Oh my god, that was so wholesome. That was such a wholesome moment. But then the even more wholesome moment is Kaladin going to save Dalinar after Dalinar was backstabbed and left by Sideas. And then Kaladin went back and saved him with the bridge crew. But the even more heartfelt moment was when Dalinar bought back the bridge crew. Shit, I need to read that. Okay, I'm so excited. And then he said, I will give you like 100 emeralds for each man. And I was like, oh. And then he removed his shard blade, and then everybody was like, on standby, ready to fucking fight. And they're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? But then he just like drove his blade into the ground or the stone or whatever, and he was like, my shard blade for these men. Let me quote it actually. He said, for the bridgemen. That's where I cried. Honestly, I cried. And honestly, Kaladin, I needed that for him. Kaladin needed to have some faith again. He needed to see something good. And I'm so excited to see the chapters of those two together, Kaladin and Dalinar working together. Yeah. Adilin, I have nothing to say about him except QT. And I don't know, I'm very down for Adilin and Shallan to hook up in book 2. I don't know if that is where this is going, but I feel like it could. I feel like I was being prepped for that. You know, Adilin having all of these women in his life and not being satisfied with just not finding the one. And then her I don't know. They could just hook up once. That would also satisfy me. Shallan. Her chapters, boring, very interesting at the same time, very annoying as well. As a person, I wanted to punch her a couple of times. She is a kind of annoying character, but I got used to her being that way. And I kind of felt sorry for her as well, which made up for my annoyance. Her and Jasnah's chapters were slow at first, kind of boring. Whenever we'd go from Kaladin's to her POV, I'd feel a bit like disappointed. But the more the story goes on and the more you read, the more interesting it gets, and the more you'd want to actually, like, you just feel like you want to sit with them in that library and do your research with them and theorize with them and study with them and, you know, have some bread and jam, minus the jam, minus the bread, whatever, you get it. Back to Kaladin's chapters for a second. There was so much mystery surrounding this character from the start. Like, I knew he was something different, he was something special, but I just thought he would end up being just a lasher. I don't know what they're called, kind of like Seth. But then it got more peculiar by the chapter. His situation, his magic abilities. And oh my god, when Teft kind of figured it out, I was going crazy. Like, just tell him, because Kaladin was sick. Teft figured it out by giving him the stones, the Stormlight. He healed, blah blah. Teft made sense of it. But I was just dying for him to tell Kaladin something. Like, just go tell him already. Tell him he's special. The guy needs it. He's depressed. We all need it. We need to understand. We don't even know what's going on. That part got me so... That's the only way I can describe it. Like, yeah. Honestly, I kind of called the whole Parshendi thing. I had a feeling about them being the Void Bringers. But I feel like there's something we still don't know there. Of course there is, knowing Brandon. Plus. Okay, let's get into this for a second. The king, what was his name? Tarvangian, okay? What is his deal? I feel like he might not be a bad guy. Okay, I know he wants to kill Dalinar and he's sending Seth to kill Dalinar, but he did say, and I quote, I had hoped to avoid doing this. Okay, so I have many theories, but none of them make sense. Okay, so shall we read them? I do have one theory, however, which I don't know how it's going to pan out because it also doesn't make sense to a certain level. But okay, perhaps both he and Dalinar have the same end goal. By Dalinar, I mean Dalinar's visions of uniting the people and stuff. They have the same end goal. They both know something bad's coming, whatever. But they have different ways of addressing it or tackling the situation. Dalinar wants to fix the situation by uniting through ways of peace, while the other one, I forgot his name, Talalala, wants to fix the situation by destroying, because through destruction comes creation. But I don't know, because also, like, something that confuses me is when Seth met him, the king of Kharbranth, he told him, it was you all along, you were my master. Did he mean all along, as in from the start, as in did that king send Seth to kill Gavilar? Or did he become his master after the death and after Seth escaped and blah 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 blah? I'm not sure about that part, because if he did, I should really Google this, I guess. But I'm afraid of seeing spoilers. Every time I Google anything, I get spoilers. Hoid, guys, Hoid, my favorite part of any fucking Brandon book, and I'm so excited to read Hoid's book. I don't know when Brandon is planning on releasing them, but they better be soon, which I doubt. Fuck, I love Hoid. Every Hoid chapter is stabbed in here. My little storyteller. Anyway, or is the king of Kharbranth working with the Parshendi? Do they have some sort of agreement? But then if he is, and the Parshendi are the Voidbringers, and the Voidbringers are bad people, then he is not really a good guy. I don't know, so much confusion around that. And it's not because I'm not smart that I haven't theorized it yet, okay? It's just that Brandon is too complex. Another thing I've written here, wait. So did the king of Kharbranth kill Gavilar to start the chaos? If according to Seth he was the master all along, then it wasn't the Parshendi. Is he working for the Voidbringers? Are they working together, them taking the fall, being the face so the truth remains hidden? Or are they good? So many questions. Anyway, I am so looking forward. I'm so intrigued as well by Jasna and Shallan's what was it called? Shadesmar? That one. I love these books and I'm just interested in the whole thing, but I just hope that Dalinar's revenge against Sadeas is going to be satisfying, and because we need it. Honestly, the people need it. I didn't trust him from the start. So excited for this book. Oh no! Brandon Sanderson, I love you. Thank you for watching this video, and until next, I will, oh yeah, I will be reviewing every book. I will probably create a playlist on my channel that's called Stormlight, or maybe Cosmere. I should have reviewed the Mistborn series when I read it. Anyway, I'm gonna create a playlist that's called Cosmere or Stormlight Archive or whatever, and I'm going to be reviewing every book as we go along, and I will be putting them in that playlist. Anyway, thank you for watching today's video. See you in the next one. Peace.